Don't imagine that you'll escape in the king's palace.
Since 1991, the Unity Coalition for Israel, UCI, has educated and motivated millions of people around the world to action in support of Israel. UCI is an alliance of Christian and Jewish organizations and individuals working together to ensure the sovereignty, safety, and security of Israel, America's only reliable democratic ally in the Middle East.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Yaakov, distinguished spiritual leaders, pastors, rabbis, distinguished Lieutenant Governor, Mr. Jeff Collier, and the wonderful community, BIAV, that I had the pleasure and the honor to be your guest this Shabbat, and really I enjoyed it so much. And I discovered a nice Yiddish Platz, as I told you, in Shabbat. Really, my first visit here in Kansas City. And thank God for this lovely community. And Esther Levens, that we don't have to add, no title. Our sages taught us that there are many important titles, rabbi, etc., but the greatest leaders had no title before. Gadol mimaran shmo. I really want to start with the inspiration of Book of Esther, as Rabbi Rokov started. When I thought, because it has to, Esther, and the time is so close to Purim, and this is the source of the name. When I thought about verse, there are many verses that fit you. As it was mentioned here, you won grace and favor, not only in the eyes of the king, also everywhere. But there is one strong verse that really took me. When Mordecai said to Esther, don't imagine that you'll escape in the king's palace. This is a time that something has to be done. If you will not do it, God will find his Savior. But don't imagine, do not imagine that you can escape in the king's palace. And I think no Mordecai said it to Esther. It was not needed. And I really admire this devotion. And if we see it in the right context, I didn't just say it in the beginning for the sake, of lip service and nice community, nice Jewish place in Kansas City, the whole community. It is well known who we are, survivors. We found some shelter in the king's palace. The river, Kansas River, Missouri River, are not like the rivers in Europe. They are not from a Jewish blood, they are from water, good water, fresh water. It's good to be here. We can Go ahead. Succeed in our business. There's enough to do to my private home, to my children, to my family. We suffered enough. Let's have a shelter in the king's palace. Let's have some rest. Is something wrong with it? Is something bad with it? Finally, we found some shelter. Do not imagine that you'll escape in the king's palace. As I said, no one had to warn Esther Levens. She understood very well, and she understands very well, that in spite of the miracle that God gave and showed all of us and all of the world, after we were in this valley of dry bones, in Auschwitz, gave us this independent state with our strength, with our army. Thank God. And we have to fight for our very revival, reviving the language, the land, the tradition, everything. But no one gives us even 1 minute of rest. Show me another state that official president says with no shame, we have to wipe them out of the globe. And trying his best to have the ability to do it, to have the nuclear weapon to do it, to take advantage of this new center of Jewish life, and to try in such a creativity, how can I, with one pushing on the bright button, destroy all of those that coming together, survivors. So we have to fight for our very survival as well. And not only him, but everyone really knows that Haman is not just one from the book of Esther. Haman from Persian, Iran, and Khomeini, then even the names are not so far, and Ahmadinejad, but there are many others. One of the unique things that Esther had, and it's close to my heart, and it's a real challenge to be here with you, as I said, distinguished rabbis, distinguished pastors, Christian leaders, Jewish leaders. We are not allowed to have this mistake that Esther did not have. We are not allowed to be like the old general, that when they waking him up and telling him, oh, there is a war, he runs and take his uniform and running to the same hill that he remembered 70 years ago or 60 years ago that the war was there. No. The Satan and the enemy changing faces always. And one of the most important things if we want to win and to survive is to know this and to be always ready for new phase. Yes, It's well known. The unbelievable thing that here we take for granted, thanks to Esther, this gathering of Christians and Jews for the sake of Israel. It's not something so simple. Until today, there are people that don't understand how it goes together. Oh, we are so different. Oh, we have other point of views. But more than it, let's speak frankly. We are not allowed to forget even one day that the background of the Holocaust was a Christian background. That in Europe, millions of children were poisoned in labels, blood labels. The Jews drink blood in Leila Seder, in Pesach. And no one can understand the Holocaust without this background. It's not one night that people, intelligent people, are standing up, nation like Germany with such a high level of culture, and looking on their neighbors and saying those are demons, those are not human beings. We have to destroy all of them. It's not one night thing. So it is very difficult. We are a nation of survivors with so many memories. But if we do not understand where today are the streets that people shouting their death to the Jews, are they in Europe? I'm not speaking about America. America is a nation of mercy. The rivers of Missouri and Kansas and Colorado and Mississippi are from water. And this nation was a warm home to Jews and supports Israel since the establishment of the State of Israel. And we know it, and we are not forgetting it for a second. But even Europe of today, who are those that running the anti-Semitism then? Today, as it was, the hatred is against the Jewish center. And the Jewish center once was in Europe. And the center of hatred was in Europe. Today, the Jewish center is in the Middle East. And the center of the hatred is there. And the inspiration is the Quran. And the inspiration is the radical Islam. And if there are places that the Protocols of the Elders of Zion is bestseller, it's not Christian nations today. It's Muslim nations. And if you don't understand it, and if you, it's not just a mistake in a class in history, it's a death or life question. And what Esther is doing, and what I'm trying to follow, is to show ourselves, frankly, with no hidden agenda, that the bridge between Christians and Jews, here in the United States of America and in other places in the world, yes, there are things that are dividing us, but the things that makes us one are more important and meaningful. And the bridge between us is the Bible and the values that we share together. And we believe that we are fighting with an enemy that sometimes understands our values as weakness and don't treat us as we understand us. And this is so crucial and so important to understand it. And not everyone understands it. And you have to be frank and to say on the table, and I'm saying it here, Orthodox community, no hidden agenda. We are not loving our Christian partners as means to the end in order to convert them. They don't love us in order to convert us. This is not the issue. It's for the end itself. It's to serve God, God of Israel. That there is only one God, and we know it. And this is the main and the only important thing in the world. That there is King of the Kings. And we believe in his book, in the Bible. And we know from the Bible that God chose his people, Abraham and then Isaac and then Jacob, that became Israel, and the tribes of Israel and the children of Israel and the people of Israel and the state of Israel. And God of Israel is not God of this state, and America has another God and France has another God. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. O Israel, our God is the only God. And we gave the whole world this abstract concept of understanding the danger of idol worship and believing in one God. This is the God of Israel. And those that hate the people of Israel hate God. And we are working together for the sake of the state of Israel, for the very survival of the state of Israel, for the very revival of the state of Israel. And we have nothing to be ashamed and nothing to hide. This is Esther Levens. So it's not just, don't misunderstand Esther. She's not just a nice lady that knows how to smile. No. She is a real fighter. And she knows what she wants. And she knows how to activate others. And how to be a hard worker and to let others to feel this inspiration that I just spoke about now from the book of Esther and from the Bible. That's why she's finding and wanting grace and favor. Why? Because she never imagined for a second that she can escape in the king's palace. That she has the time to make for her own. It's a nice place, Kansas City. You can fall into a sleep here. It's nice. She never did it. And I admire her for this. And I really think that the story of Esther Levens, it's a story that we have to learn and we have to adopt. And I know how you are rooted to the state of Israel, all of you. But we always can be better. Ask Esther. We always can do more. And I really believe that it is a time, the privilege, real privilege God gave us to live in this special time. At the same time, it's also a real challenge. It's a real challenge. We can see how many things that He promised to us were fulfilled in front of our eyes. We can feel that the Bible, the Tanakh, is not a book on the shelf of books. It's in our hearts inside. We can open this book and use it as a tourist guide in Israel and recognize places. We can open this book and learn the history. We can open this book and understand the newspapers. And we have to open this book, because it's very difficult to understand the very existence of the state of Israel and the day-to-day problems that we have without it. Yeah, including the political, not political, fight that we have with our enemies. It's very difficult. And to those that don't know the Bible and the history of Israel, it's difficult to explain. Listen, it's our land. We just left it. We went to some lunch break. And we left a note that we are going to come back in half an hour. So it took us 2,000 years, but we are back. Not so simple, people. It's not so simple. You really have to know and to believe who are you and where are your roots. From where are you going and to where are you going? We need it every day in Israel, and we need it here. And that's why I said in the beginning, it was a real joy for me to know this community, to come to this place that I never were here before, to see how brothers can find each other. How can we, in a minute, be together with the same textbooks, same history, but more than all of it, to see that there are people like Esther Levens in Kansas City. That they are here, but they are not exactly only here. They are devoted to the nation of Israel, to the history of the nation of Israel, to the past, to the present. And God will give them the privilege to join with all of us a glorious future that He promised to us. Thank you very much. And Esther, just go ahead.
Since 1991, the Unity Coalition for Israel, UCI, has educated and motivated millions of people around the world to action in support of Israel. UCI is an alliance of Christian and Jewish organizations and individuals working together to ensure the sovereignty, safety, and security of Israel, America's only reliable democratic ally in the Middle East.